Okay. There was a little bit of a technical difficulty there for a minute, but I think I got it fixed. So, yeah. For a second, the microphone wasn't working, but I got it working. Anyways, hi, I'm Kelci. I make comics and art. Today, I'm going to be doing a tarot art live stream. So I'm going to be drawing some art for the Tarot Major Arcana, because that is a little personal project of mine, is just working on the Tarot Major Arcana. Before I open up the files for that, though, I want to just quickly show off something that I was working on before I started streaming. Let me add this to the stream. There we go. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see this bad boy in his full glory. There he is. Yes. I revisited this sketch. I had drawn a rough pencil version of this and posted it on both my old Instagram and my new Instagram. You can follow my new Instagram at Kelci D Comics. The link is on the screen. Link will also be in the YouTube and blog doobly-doo. So I had drawn the original one, and looking at this now, I realized I missed a thing. So let me just add some shadows up in here real quick before I forget. I was working so hard on his muscles, I completely forgot about this part up here. Here we go. This is my first time actually using pencil-y type brushes. I actually kind of like them. I think I'm going to use them in more sketchy work more often now. It's going to take me a second to save this because after I did the rough pencils for this piece, I started recording the time lapse so that I could capture the inking and shadow process. But because it started doing that, it's also taking its sweet bippy time saving the file. Hello, Jessica. Good to see you in the chat. Okay, now this did do a technical thing, so let me just... Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it did not lose its pen sensitivity. It has not, so we're good. Woo. Okay, but I wanted to just quickly show off this bad boy because I'm actually really pleased with the pencil look that I have achieved in Clip Studio Paint. And also I just really like how his shading is coming out. So I'm just really jazzed about this piece. I will be adding color to this. The color I will be treating the same way that I treat the pencils, which is loosey-goosey. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, now that we got this at a good pausing point, let's go ahead and actually get a tarot piece up. I'll go ahead and show off the one that I have finished so far, just to give you an idea of the look I'm going for this illustration series. For one thing, it's going to be all in black and white. Here we go. This is the scanned in inks, because what I'm doing with this illustration series is I'm doing the pencils digitally, then I am printing out the pencils and then inking on top of those traditionally. It's a unique and different process, but I will say it is providing me with a unique ink look. So it's also just a really good exercise to get some traditional inking practice in, because I've been a little bit rusty. Because like, while I do PuzzleSpell traditionally, PuzzleSpell is about the only comic that I do traditionally anymore. Most everything is digital nowadays. So the tarot art project here is a really nice, like, return to traditional inking form. Also, it's a nice break from staring at the computer screen all day. So here's what we're doing. This is the kind of aesthetic that I'm going for with this tarot illustration series. That said, like I mentioned before, just a second ago, I'm doing the pencils digitally. So I'm doing the sketched versions digitally. I actually started the next card in the series because I'm going in numerical order. Because what I want to do with the series is each card is like a still frame of a story, and I want the story to progress as the series goes on. So what we have here is card number 0, the Fool. The next one, which I will be showing the process of in this live stream / video, is card number 1, the Magician. And I'll get into the meanings of the cards in a second. So let me just get the Magician up. Like I said, I had started the rough pencil sketches. I'm going to polish up the pencil sketch because what we have here is actually 2 different pencil layers shown at the same time. We have the original sketch, which I pulled from my sketchbook, and then we have the additional with that. So yeah, we're going to polish this up a little bit. First things first, though, I'm just going to confirm some costume details for the Fool here, because narratively speaking in the tarot, the Fool is the main character. Oh, forgot that I had the other pencil type active, so. Okay, here we go. I just realized I had the gray pencil active. How about we make it red? Make it stand out a little bit from everything else. And with this series, because the thing about the tarot is that the art style, whatever you choose, like the symbology should still be there, obviously, because tarot is highly symbolic. How you choose to display the symbology is entirely up to the artist. Some artists will do a themed deck, like themed around fairies, or I've seen one deck that was the Nightmare Before Christmas. I said Christmas, but the Nightmare Before Christmas. I've seen those decks. They're not too substantially different from like any other deck. But with this one, I wanted to give my own spin on it. Like I said, I want to do this series like a narrative where each card is almost like a still frame of a story, and having that narrative go as the numbers accumulate. So like card number 0 is panel 0, card number 1 is panel 1, card number 2 is panel 2, etc. All the way to the end, to number 21, if I remember my sequence correctly. But yes, okay. So we have that. Most of this is fine, but what I need to do is, what I need to do is use the wand tool and select. Right, I forgot that the original sketch was straight from my sketchbook. So using the wand tool to try to select the area around it is not going to 100% work the way that I want it to. So I'm going to have to use the lasso tool for this. Okay. I'll go ahead and give an update on the Instagram account situation. Because yes, I do have a new Instagram page. However, the old one had gotten hacked, which was why I made the new one. I have not recovered the old one yet. We're getting there, but it's not quite there yet. But on the upside, the hacker does not have access to the old account anymore that I can see. So I'll count that as a win. All right, I've used the lasso tool to select around the pencil area. Boop. There, that cleans that up the way I wanted it to. Boop. Okay. Okay, so now that we got that, let's... Oh, right, I got to draw the braid. Because the fool here has a braid. Like a mohawk braid. So we're going to need to polish that a little bit more. Erase some of these guidelines here. I'll go ahead and announce this now too. For technical reasons, today's live stream is going to be only an hour and a half. And that's because of StreamYard. For some strange reason, StreamYard is telling me that it is recording, it is housing all of my previous recordings, which it should not be doing because YouTube should have those. So I'm just going to check and make sure what's going on there. But to play it on the safe side, I'm going to keep today's stream to about an hour and a half because that's what StreamYard says I have storage left for, and I don't want to push my luck. There. Wanted to polish up that bicep a little bit. It was looking a little flat to me. Okay. Reference for the braid. I really should draw a character sheet for this particular character, but for the most part, and this is something that I've had in mind for this particular illustration series. You never see the fool's face. That's my intent with this illustration series, is I want the fool to be present in each card because the tarot is the journey of the fool through the narrative arc of the tarot. But I don't want the fool's face to be seen so that whoever the cards are being read for, like, that can be their avatar, basically. Let's try that again. For anybody who's like, why are all of your characters wearing mohawks? Just going to gesture broadly at my own head. But also, mohawks are just fun to draw, man. I mean, why the hell not? Mohawks are cool. Not all of my characters have mohawks. Charlie from Charlie and Clow does not have a mohawk. Clow does. Charlie does not. Acrodon does not. Claudia does not. I co-created Allie, but Allie does not. Come to think of it, I actually don't have very many characters with mohawks that are in comics. Jamie Roberts could have a faux hawk, but that's about as close as it gets, I think. Roxy has one, obviously. Speaking of Roxy, pre-orders should all be shipped by now. I've been getting messages from folks saying that they got their pre-order, so yay, thank you for letting me know. Since pre-orders are mostly received, I am going to get back into the Roxy listing on my Ko-fi shop, adjust the pricing, and make it live again so that anybody can order it. Oh, catching up on comments. I don't know what is going on here. So we're just gonna boop. Okay. Mohawks, mo problems. A+ joke. Good to see you on the Twitch side of things, because this broadcast is simultaneously playing on YouTube and Twitch, and also on my blog. So there we go. Multiple places. Catching up on comments here. Haven't heard much from your old Instagram account, which is odd. I'll take that as a win. Yeah, because like I said before, I'm thinking what's happening is that the hacker and myself are both locked out of the old account. I'll count that as a win. So I'm just going to be more active on my new Instagram account. If I regain control of the old one, I'm just going to delete it. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure that there's any way to like recover, like, even if I do manage to log back into the old account, I don't think there's any way to like make it bounce back from a hacker posting a bunch of crypto shit on there, because crypto is not my thing. It is very obviously not my thing. I have made it very clear on multiple platforms that it is not my thing. But the account got hacked by a crypto bro, and the crypto bro started posting crypto stuff until I was able to lock him out of the account. But not entirely sure that there's a way to rehabilitate an old account after it's been hacked like that. So I'm just going to delete it and start over on the new Instagram page, Kelci D Comics, and go from there. To be honest with you, I'm fine with that, because like accounts can be replaced, fans cannot. By the way, on the new account, I'm about 1/3 of the way, almost halfway back to my original numbers. So I will count that as a win. Because I'll go into the proper method of like how I did my Instagram recovery plan, because there was a plan that I put into effect, and that's how I got like about 300 plus followers in about a week. It's a little complicated, and I don't want to get too much into it because I'm supposed to be drawing. But I'll be writing a blog post about it soonish. Okay, so we have some pencils polished up for the magician piece. So, okay. With that, I am going to make a new layer and call it whiteout, because, again, the objective with this is to do the pencils digitally so that we can print it out and ink it traditionally. That's the objective with this process. So we're just going to get in here. This is very much the inverse of what I usually do digitally, because usually digitally I just go at it with the eraser tool. This is backwards from what I usually do. It's taking my brain a second to adjust. Once we get these pencils polished up, I'll lock the transparent pixels and color all of the pencils on the pencil layer to kind of a red color. Red or blue, one of the two. Oh, made that rhymed. But making it a different color besides black. And I want to do that so that whenever I scan this in later, it'll be easier to scan just the black and white stuff and ignore the color pencil sketch underneath. For anybody who's wondering, this method of doing pencils digitally and then inking traditionally, I borrowed it from a Instagram user, goes by cmetzner.com, aka Chris Metzner, because a lot of his character art that he posts is done that way. And I was like, I'll give this method a shot. Why not? And I'll be honest with you, I like it. I like it a lot. Ooh, I do think I'm going to go into the magician character here and go over, because this is the original sketch from my sketchbook, but I had to size it up, so that's why it looks kind of pixelated. I think I'm just going to go into this. Make a new layer called Magician Pencils, and I'm going to pencil them in green. Ooh. Awesome. Okay, now the OG sketch, we're going to put that at 50% opacity so that I can actually see what I'm doing. I've been meaning to do a Instagram or TikTok live stream, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, mostly because I'm lazy, but also I think I need a new phone mount for that. The one that I currently have, unfortunately, there's a component on here that when I lock the phone in place into it, it blocks the microphone, so nobody will be able to hear me talk. Whether you consider that a good thing or a bad thing, I leave that up to you. But I would like to have people hear me speak during a live stream, so this phone mount is not going to cut it for me anymore. I could get a new one, and I did see some at Five Below that looked pretty good. It actually looked like they would work for my purposes. It just stinks because this phone mount that I have right here, I paid $40 for at Best Buy, and it sort of worked for a time, but now that time has ended, so I'm going to need to get rid of it and either get a new one or figure out something else. I do have a, what's it called? A shot box And the shop box is intended for taking pictures for product posts for like a Ko-fi shop or Etsy or anything like that. But I'm thinking about using that shot box because the shot box has openings on the top of it so that you can actually record videos. I might use that for Instagram or TikTok live streams so that people can like see the process as I do stuff traditionally. The other issue with doing Instagram and TikTok live streams is that it would have to be traditional stuff. And I hardly do traditional work anymore. Not unless I have a really good excuse for it, like this tarot art series or PuzzleSpell. Those are like the two things that I use traditional media for anymore. Not unless I want to do sketchy live streams, but I don't really do sketch live streams. Because that implies that I am open for requests, and I am not. I have enough projects keeping me busy at any given time that I usually don't do requests. I will do commissions, but not requests. To me, requests are either for charity purposes or for people who don't have the confidence to charge for their work. That's how I see it, but that's me. That hand is quite big, and I don't know whether I want to shrink it or keep it. I'm going to shrink it. Just answered my own question. Boom. There we go. Now, with the Magician card, the infinity symbol is a common motif because the Magician card is manifesting possibilities, basically. Manifesting many types of possibilities. So anytime that you see a magician pop up in a tarot card reading, that means basically whatever it is that you are putting your energy towards, the goal that you want to see happen is likely to happen. Speaking of making things happen, there's a number of things I actually got done within this last week. I was very shocked. Pleasantly shocked, but shocked. I know I had said a second ago, there are projects that keep me busy enough that I don't do requests. And for the most part, that's still true. But I did get a bunch of projects that had been sitting on the back burner finally done. And I'm very happy about that. One of those projects was putting my old webcomic, Seeing Him, into PDF form. I've been wanting to do that for ages because Seeing Him has lived on two separate websites, and unfortunately, both of those websites no longer exist. So I was like, I think the safest bet is for me to just make it into a PDF and offer it on my Ko-fi shop. And that is true. That is the safest thing that I have done. Also the best thing that I have done. So now Seeing Him is available as a PDF download on my Ko-fi shop. I'll go ahead and pop the link up on the screen here for a second. God, I just had a brain fart because like I checked the comments because I saw that there were new comments, and then I looked and I went, neat. And then I completely forgot what I was going to do. Ko-fi shop. Right. Okay. Ko-fi.com/Kelci D. Crawford. If you go there and you click on shop, it'll take you right there. And I have a section in the shop just for downloadable stuff. Just click on downloads. Link will also be in the YouTube doobly-doo or in the blog doobly-doo. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Five Below has the best low-end tech for streaming. For the most part, they do. I actually had a Bluetooth headset from there that lasted for a while. Unfortunately, this arc part on that old set cracked in half. So I'm not sure that I would recommend their headphones necessarily, but a lot of other things about Five Below I do recommend. I actually got okay-ish clothes from there. They're nice and cozy. Oh, that reminds me. Carlos, you had told me about this like Pride fanny pack that has Bluetooth speakers in it. Unfortunately, the Five Below that's close to me did not have that in stock anymore. So, alas, I will have to live without it, even though I really wanted that fanny pack. I mostly wanted it so that I could have a stereo to listen to on my bike rides, but it could also work as a cash bag for conventions. But I already have a couple of those already. Go back into here for a second and erase some pencil lines. Clean it up a little bit. Done. Back to the magician pencils. Another thing I want to do with this tarot illustration series is I want to introduce more genderqueer characters. One thing that really, really, really annoys me about Tarot Major Arcana interpretations is that there are a lot of people who have very straight cisgender readings on a lot of cards. And for a lot of these cards, I feel like those interpretations do not fit. Like, the magician is usually interpreted as male. I don't believe the magician is. I think the magician is purely genderqueer. Like, they may be genderqueer presenting as male, but for a being that taps into infinite possibilities, they should be at least gender fluid. Oh, catching up on comments real quick. Oh, okay. I feel like I saw this on the shelf. Five Below also has the best snack ever, Choco Mushroom. I'm going to have to find that and give it a try because, like, Five Below does have really good snacks. I actually picked up some peach rings on the bike ride back to my apartment. Which, can I just take a minute to talk about biking? Because for the last, like, oh gosh. Hold on. Let me look at the calendar because, like, there was a period of overlap between switching from one job and going to the other one. Okay. So unless it's been actively raining, I have not driven my car since June 20th. So that is like 2 weeks of not driving a car and just riding a bike back and forth. The only exception to that was the day that I did free RPG day. Because I don't have a cargo bike and I don't have the means to put my convention gear on my bike. So I had to take my car. But I minimized the amount of driving that I had to do that day to keep it as efficient as possible. Still, though, largely carless for the last 2 weeks. I've been riding my bike back and forth between places to my new gig because I left my previous gig of putting away stock at the craft store that I worked at. I left that job and I started working at the Chipotle that's down the road from me, which, as far as fast food gigs go, I have worked worse. Training for such a gig is never a fun time. I will say training at Chipotle is going much smoother than my training at Sheets, mostly because my training at Sheets, people thought that it was a smart idea to pair me up with teenagers who had no interest in showing me how to do anything. They were more interested in just goofing around and finding out. And I'm like, well, okay. So, Sheets wasn't that fun. But Chipotle, at least the Chipotle that I'm working at, they're mostly adults, and they are mostly adults who are like, they may not necessarily all have their shit together, but for the most part, they're like, do you know how to do this? And I have learned in jobs like this to be honest. So I'm just like, no, I haven't been shown how to do that yet. And then they'll show me how to do it. I do it. And that's how I learn. So that's the thing about working jobs like Chipotle or any kind of fast food gig, really, is honestly, honesty is the best policy. If somebody looks at you and they're like, do you know how to do this? Tell them the honest answer. Don't try to like bullshit your way out of it. Even if you think you know how to do it, because it's like, hey, do you know how to chop tomatoes? Like, you could say yes, but there are often like company mandated ways to do things. So in that sort of instance, you just got to be like, I know my way of doing it. I don't know the Chipotle way of doing it. Had that conversation the other day with a coworker because he was like, do you know how to chop peppers? And I'm like, I know a method, but I don't think it's the Chipotle method. Thankfully, I've been kept in the back doing prep work in the mornings. And I say thankfully because, oh my good lordy, I do not want to work with customers as much as possible at jobs like this one. Really don't want to. I really don't want to see customers as much as humanly possible. It's not because I suck at character or it's not because I suck at customer service. It's because at fast food gigs, my people-pleasing tendencies tend to kick in, and that is the worst time for people-pleasing tendencies to kick in. Is when you're working in fast food. Because there are some customers you're never going to satisfy, no matter what you do. Okay. So we got those polished up. Also just going to polish up this twisting road here as well. yeah, the only thing left would be the columns, because the columns are lopsided. For that, No, I'm just turning off the whiteout layer, seeing what difference that makes. Yeah, we'll turn off that OG sketch layer. Simplify that. Okay, we'll leave the whiteout layer where it is, because that cleans everything up. Save our progress so far. Okay. Yeah, let's use the rectangle tool to polish up these columns a bit. Oh, I have the symmetry tool. Let's turn that on real quick. And then we'll use the lasso and select around the column. Refer only to editing layer, white that out. Okay, I'm actually going to turn the whiteout layer to 50% so that I can see the original column, because that'll make there, column pencils a little bit easier to do. Oh, I forgot that was still white, so changing that back to this. Boop. Lasso tool again. Okay. Scroll down to the bottom. Ooh. Lasso tool, because when you use the eraser tool, for some strange reason, the eraser feature does not apply to both sides of the symmetry line. It only applies to one. Don't entirely know why that is. Maybe it's just a symmetry setting. Maybe it can be fixed. Who knows? Done with that. Whiteout layer back to full opacity. Oh gosh, everybody yelling at Auntie Alex. Why?
Boo yelled when I woke up, or when I stood up, and then Bree yelled when I came out into the hallway.
Bree yells at everybody.
That's true.
Yeah. Bree yells at me, and she loves me. I don't know why your boo-boo is yelling, though.
She always gets on this way.
Always. Pretty sure that cat has an entire thesis on thermonuclear dynamics, and we just do not understand because all we hear is meh.
Yeah. Her thesis would be on cheese, let's be real.
Yeah, her thesis would be on cheese. I was just thinking back to this comic that I wrote called Thoughtful Dinosaur which is about a dinosaur who runs a blog about books. And a little throwaway line that I put in there was, I can finally write my dream essay comparing Nabokov to Swiss cheese. And I'm like, there's a part of me that really wants to write that. And on the other hand, I don't even know where I would start with that. But there's a part of me that kind of wants to write it as a gag.
Collaborate with Boo Boo. I'm sure she'd be able to help.
Oh, I'm sure Boo Boo would have many a contribution to make regarding comparing Nabokov to Swiss cheese.
Yes.
Okay, we got those pencils right where we need them. Oh, she's
I saw her walk out here.
she's hiding. I know Bree Bree's out here. She's probably in the cave. No, she's not in the cave.
She's in your room.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
She's in my room? Okay. Oh, Boo Boo is at the kitty fountain.
My Boo Boo. Boo Boo, I love you.
How does this cat have this long ass tongue?
The better to taste cheese with.
Yes, the better to taste cheese with, mother. Okay, anyway, yeah. This cat aside brought to you by our furry roommates. Ugh, okay. So we got these pencils polished up to the best of our ability. I'm going to fix this elbow. This elbow's too pointy. Yeah, that works. Oh, but the columnade needs to be polished up a little bit more too. Back to the whiteout layer. Oh, symmetry tools need to be turned back on, but there we go. Now, polishing this up doesn't have to be perfect because, again, we're going to be inking this in traditionally, but this is a good way to polish it up, I think. That'll do. Cool. Save our progress. And I'm going to group that together and put that opacity at 25%, I think it was. Let me look at the original thing for the Fool. Yeah, it was 25%. Okay. Yeah. Saving that. And we are going to you know what? We're going to export that into a TIFF. Oh. I don't usually do the export feature on Clip Studio. I just use the save as function half the time, but in this instance, I'm going to use the export feature. Okay. The next illustration in the tarot series is for the High Priestess. And I have a sketch of this. I just need to remember if I scanned it in or not. So give me a hot second to look over my sketchbooks to try to find it. I did scan it in. Thank you, past me. Okay. Hair got in my face. So the sketch we'll be working off of for this is going to be this down here. This is what we will use for our basis for the High Priestess card. That's what we're going to do. We'll use our lasso. We are going to copy that. And we'll go back. I think I have the tarot size saved as a template, but I'm going to check. Oh, good, I do. And we're going to paste that sketch in there. This is the High Priestess tarot card. Oop. Now, there are going to be traditional tarot card readings that are going to look at the Magician and the High Priestess and consider them like two sides of the same coin. But to me, they are not so much that. The Magician is manifesting infinite possibilities. The High Priestess is the embodiment of the unknown. To me. Obviously, cards can mean different things to different people. But my interpretation is that the High Priestess embodies the unknown. So, I mean, the best way to like describe what I mean by the unknown is if you've ever seen the movie The Secret of NIMH, and there's in a lot of stories like The Secret of NIMH, they usually pitch science versus nature. But The Secret of NIMH is one of those rare stories that's like it's science, nature, and the unknown being magic, broadly speaking, but also just things that we cannot explain with our everyday vernacular. That's what the High Priestess to me represents, is that unknown. Okay. I think that's about as big as I am going to get it. We're going to call the original sketch the thumb layer, and the pencils are going to go on top of that. Boom. Deselect. I'm just going to show off the rest of that sketchbook page. This up here was the original concept for the Magician card, but I opted not to do that. We're not going to save the changes there. We're going to X out of that one. And okay. I'm actually going to wrap it here. I know that this is unusually early for wrapping up a live stream, but because of some technical fiddly bits, I think here would be a good place to stop for now, because StreamYard's doing some wacky stuff. I got drawn what I set out to draw for this particular live stream. So let's get into the post-stream announcements. So thank you all for watching. I usually stream every Tuesday and Saturday, though in the next couple of weeks, that schedule may change. If it changes, I will keep you posted on my website. You can find my website at KelciDCrawford.com. If you're watching this on my blog, you're already there. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, link on the screen or link in the doobly-doo. To check out my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, you can just head on over to thelegendofjamieroberts.com. New pages post every Wednesday. As a heads up, Chapter 6 is almost over. As part of my production schedule for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, at the end of each chapter, I take a minimum 2-week hiatus between pages. This is so that I don't burn out. It also enables me to build a buffer back up if I had gone through a buffer for whatever emergency purpose. So again, once chapter 6 concludes, there'll be a 2-week hiatus. More details about that will unravel as we get closer to that date. The date being when chapter 6 concludes. More details will post then. Yes, stay hydrated. Cannot understate that enough, especially since I've been biking back and forth to more places. Drink more water. This goes for any of you, whether you ride a bike back and forth anywhere or not. Just drink water. I don't care if you think it's gross. It's good for you. Other announcements? If you have the means to and you liked what you saw, head on over to ko-fi.com/KelciDCrawford and leave me a tip. You can do so just one time, or you can do like the Patreon and make it a monthly recurring thing. It all helps to keep the lights on and get me sandwiches. And I think, I'm going to reiterate, new Instagram page, follow me at KelciDComics. I got other social medias too. You can find all of that at beacons.ai/KelciDCrawford. Links in the doobly-doo. Or you can just head to my website, KelciDCrawford.com. Everything's there as well. We'll see if I stream this upcoming Tuesday. Might just take that off. Not for any holiday-related reasons. I feel like the United States does not deserve a birthday this year. But we'll see. Stay tuned on my social media for any stream-related updates. That's all I got. Thank y'all so much for watching. You are awesome.